Hi, welcome to What's the Word? I'm your host, Jaime McFaden, and I'm so excited to have you here. This podcast is about all things wellness. Each week, we will focus on a word of the day, and I interview some of the most inspirational people I know and share that inspiration with you. Join me, let's learn together on What's the Word.
This is the place where I belong.
Hi, and welcome to What's the Word? I'm your host, Jaime McFaden. This podcast is about all things wellness. Each week, we'll focus on a word of the day and give some tips on how you can utilize that word to help change your life for the better. To kick it off today, our word is control, which is the power to influence or direct people's behavior or course of events. And I am so excited today to be interviewing personal finance reporter and author Jeanette Pavini. Hi, Jeanette. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Jaime. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm so happy to have you here today. Thank you so much for joining us.
So
when I asked you to think of a word that resonates with you, you pretty quickly knew, okay, I've got my word and it's control. So now tell us about that word and what does it mean to you?
So, I think what's interesting is if we go with the other side of the word, which is out of control, a lot of us feel that, especially right now. We feel things have taken control of us with, we're dealing with a global pandemic, an economy that has affected millions of people. And so why I like the word control and what the word control means to me is taking back power. It's looking at every situation where we feel we don't have control and we think, how can I regain some control? For example, keeping ourselves safe or, taking control of our personal finances so that we don't get affected as severely as we might have if we just relinquish ourselves to absolutely everything taking control of us. So to me, control is one of the most powerful words that we can put into our mind because we really do have more control in our lives, especially our personal finances, than we think we do.
And so it's so beautiful that you said that because I think a lot of the times many people feel as though they have no control of anything, right. And then you really can spin out of control so easily. And I would love for you to expand specifically on personal finances and specifically on, this time right now with whoever's listening and whatever they might be going through. What are some really simple and basic things that someone can do today to start taking back that control?
Right. And you hit the nail on the head. It's really today. You don't want, we're not as concerned, let's say about 20 years from now with our retirement or our kids' college necessarily. We're worried about today. So I break it down into two sections. We all have a monthly budget. All of us. Mm-hmm. We have things that are set in stone, like our mortgage or our rent or possibly your kids' childcare. There's things that are really kind of non-negotiable, let's say. They're set in stone. We have a lot of things in our monthly budget that we have control over. Spending on your groceries. You and I've talked to you about this in the past. It's amazing how much control we have if you use strategies such as, planning your weekly menu around what's on sale at the grocery store, finding coupons that match, taking advantage of rain checks where if something's out of stock that you need and it's on sale, that you get a rain check for when it comes back in. You can literally slash your grocery bill by up to 50% by doing these things. I've done this experiment a million times over my career. I've done it with you. It works. Mm-hmm. So if you want to take control, now let's say you can save $50 a week on your grocery bill, which is very doable, especially if you have more than one person in your, if you have kids or a husband or wife, partner, you can really save thousands of dollars a year by doing that. It doesn't take much effort. You just go online to your grocery store, find out what's on sale, and plan your menu. Having a plan is part of being in control. Yeah. Going into a grocery store or pharmacy with just a couple things in your mind and no plan, you're going to spend too much money. So right there, it's like giving yourself a raise. So that's one area we have control. Our entertainment, right? That's changed completely. People, things are closed and whatnot. So right there, because of what's going on, you can save money because we're not out spending as much gas. This is actually a really good time to take a good hard look at what we're spending and how we have made adjustments and how we're actually saving money. And I am a big believer in paying in cash. If it might be more difficult right now, but when you go to a grocery store, if you do go using cash, will usually keep you within a budget, or an ATM debit card, because it's not something you can charge and pay for later on. This
Right.
is also a good time to take control of your credit card debt. I mean, the average American, I believe, the last time I wrote a story, it was a little under 10,000. That is, their credit card debt. And I mean, it could go much higher, it could go lower. But if you have credit card debt, this is really a good time to call your credit card companies and say, hey, look, this is what's going on in my life, and I need to make some adjustments. I need to see if you can, defer my interest for 6 months. I need to see if you could lower my interest. I mean, these are things that are going to give you control. It's going to give you power. And that's really what it's about right now.
Yeah.
So,
And now with that being said, obviously so many people this year specifically are now either out of work or things have changed in their own life and might be struggling, saying I don't even know where to begin. So obviously I think that what you just said is so great, like starting simple and small with things like your groceries, taking a look and making a list of exactly what are the non-negotiable things that you have to spend money on versus what are the things that you can't. So would you say it's a great idea today for someone listening to get out literally a pen and a paper and start writing all these things down? Because I know even for myself, I wasn't doing that. And quite frankly, I was spending money that I didn't even realize I was spending due to having, apps or whatever else on my phone that I just didn't realize were still there. So I think those are really great ideas. And now, is this something that you've always been into, or like what inspired you to get into finances?
well, it's interesting. My father and mother, I grew up with very, as I'm sure like your grandparents, there was a generation after the war and the Depression that really had a good idea of the value of every dollar. And you didn't waste money, you didn't waste food, and you spent, my dad always used to say, and in my generation, we earned a quarter, we spent 15 cents and we tried to save a dime. Your generation spends the quarter and then borrows another quarter at 25% interest. And he was right, and my dad never made a ton of money, but he had 7 mouths to feed, and he retired extremely comfortably, because they saved. So I learned growing up the value of a dollar. Now, but the real lessons I learned that I share with people were all the mistakes I made, especially in my 20s and 30s and with credit cards and getting in credit debt and things. And then when I started working as a consumer reporter, it was my job to find ways to help people save money. And so it became this kind of like a passion for me, because I saw that it could be something people could change. Like anyone listening today, trust me, you can make these changes and tomorrow you'll be in a better financial situation, right? I mean, knowledge is power, control. That's what it is. And so but I get it. Like when you have credit card debt, or when you have collectors, or when you're figuring out how am I going to pay my rent and my childcare and this, that, it is overwhelming. And the easiest thing to do is stick your head in the sand.
Right.
But
I don't want to think about it.
I don't want to think about it. I've been there. I get it. But the truth of the matter is, if you write it out and you look at each item individually and you think, first of all, do I need this? And if I need this, how can I make it less expensive for me?
Right.
It's very empowering. So and what I've learned also is, over the years is being your own voice. It costs you nothing to call a credit card company and to talk to them about reducing your interest. What's the worst thing? They're going to say no. And then you look for a credit card. Right now, there's so many credit card offers that are offering, you could balance transfer and get longer periods to pay it at interest free. So, it really is, but you have to sit down and acknowledge what your responsibilities are.
Yeah. So I think, I mean, overall, no matter what, at the end of the day, for anyone that's listening right now, you have to. And I'm saying this because I had to do this. And Jeanette, you've inspired me in so many ways throughout the years. And I've always admired and looked up to your knowledge in this way and your power and your ability to say, no, this is how you can take control. And I've always loved seeing that, and you always offer so much online and so many resources for people. And the reality is you have to just make time, just like you do for your exercise or cooking your meals or for your children. You've got to schedule something in your calendar right now that in the next 3 days you're going to go write down every single thing that you pay for and ask yourself, do I need this? Because I think that's a big thing too, is a lot of the times when you see it, you're like, oh wait, I don't really need that. Or you're aware of it.
Yeah, and brown bag in your lunch if you are still, like, a lot of people are working from home, but that used to be like buying designer coffees, or buying lunch out every day. We did this whole thing where we took the typical like lunch thing that people would run out, like a turkey sandwich, a drink, and what have you, a dessert, and it was something like $11.50 was the average cost. But when we recreated it by using strategies like buying what was on sale and using coupons, it was like $2.40 for the exact same thing.
Wow.
And so even if you did that 3 times a week,
Wow.
and it's kind of, I mean, it's just, it's getting really creative. I used to do this segment called "There's Always a Better Way to Save," and actually I'm working on a book with that's the working title, because there is always a better way to save. Like, don't assume there's just one way to save on something. If you're paying a lot for your utility bills, call them, find another plan. Do you need all the services you're getting? And you mentioned, go through, what apps am I paying for? What magazines? It adds up.
So, okay, now you just mentioned your book. So, as we wrap this up, I'm so excited to hear that your book is almost done, or is it going to, are we going to get our hands on it soon?
Soon. I'm thinking right after the first of the year, when we're really thinking about it. And what motivated me to do this was, I was, when everything was happening with the economy and I was thinking, people are really going to feel this. And I think, it's going to carry on for a while. And how can I help empower people? And it's right now, as I said, the working title is "There's Always a Better Way to Save." Trust me, because there really is. And so we take all the different areas of your budget and we break it down. Do this, so that it's a no-brainer for you. And I mean, I guarantee if someone was to read it front to back and follow even a percentage of it, they would be in a better financial position a month from the time they do that.
Right.
So,
oh my goodness. Well, I am so excited. And I also want to make sure that you share with us, and for anyone that's listening, I will be sharing with you all of Jeanette's social media, website, anything that you can share with us, because you really do. I see all the time online, you're always posting something about, hey, think about this. And I always click and I read it, and it's a quick read, but it's always something very valuable that day I take to consideration of, wow, I could save $5 this way right now. And I do. And then I think about it, and that really adds up. And overall, this ties in so much with what I do. I always tell people, when it comes to health and wellness and fitness, right? It's like, I could say all these things to do to somebody, to a client, let's say, and even if they just do this much of it, they're going to get a benefit, right? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, I feel very similar. And that's why I'm so excited to have you here today, because financial wellness is so important. Because for anyone that's listening, if you've ever felt or experienced what it's like to be financially stressed, it can stress every area of your life. And you could feel like your head is underwater and you don't know how to get out. And that's why, Jeanette, I was so excited to have you on, and I'm so thankful to have you on today, because I want to also inspire and motivate, just like you've motivated me all these years, about, yes, we can start today. And, in this very moment, whoever's listening, follow Jeanette and listen to what she's saying, because it is so valuable, and the power that you have to take control of your own finances can change your life quite literally. So.
Quite literally. Absolutely. And you hit the nail on the head. It does boil over into so many other areas of our life when we're financially feel under pressure.
And the same to the opposite. When you feel like you've kind of got your finances in order, it's actually a pretty relaxing feeling. So knowing both of those, it is a great feeling.
Like anything else, it starts in the mindset. And no matter what, one last thing I'll say, try, no matter what, even if it's $5 a week, try to save something every week. There is a real power, even if you have $250 in a bank account and a savings. It feels good.
Yes, yes. Oh, thank you so much, Jeanette. I'm
Thank
so
you.
happy to have you on here. Can't
Yes.
wait for your book. And
Yes.
I will be, like I said, sharing all the links. Is there anything else that you want to share with us?
I have. They could go to JeanettePavini.com. We'll have links to everything. And I mainly post through my community. There's always a better way to save, Facebook. And yeah, I try to, and I keep my little dog on there too. So everyone
So
gets to know who she is.
So cute. I love following along. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for being on. Thank you for sharing this valuable information. And to everyone
my
listening, go check your finances today. Write them all down and follow Jeanette. Okay. Stay healthy. Be well. Bye. Thank you for joining me here at What's the Word. Follow us on social media with the links on the screen, and don't forget to like and share with your friend. Your support helps us grow and continue to make inspirational content. See you next time on What's the Word.